Okay, so let's start the first topic that we have to cover as per se our syllabus, that is arithmetic progression, right? Um, Let me tell you the purpose of this series. So the lectures that we are going to cover in the entire course are not to teach you the basics of each and everything. We don't have the time to cover the basics. So what we are going to do is that we are going to take up some good questions and then figure out how to apply the basic concepts that you have already learned over the class 11th and class 12th period on these particular questions. So I'm not going to revise the basic formulas for you in this series. That is, I guess, is a wastage of time. We'll directly put onto the questions as I have taken this question here, and we'll try use basics in these, right? So let's start with the first question. We already know what arithmetic progression is. So arithmetic progression is something of this sort. If I talk about the very basic, which you must remember, where we talk about this d as common difference, right? So every term is being added by a constant number, which remains same for the entire AP. So this is actually what is called as AP. We also remember the formula for an, that is a1 plus n minus 1d. This everybody knows. Sn, so a1 plus an, yeah, remember an, a1 plus an by 2, right? Or we can say this is also equal to n by 2, 2a plus n minus 1d. All right, so just going through the basics, but let's see how we'll apply this everything in this particular frame of question. So it says let an be the, so an is the nth term. We know this is the formula for the nth term, and it is given as something of this sort. So my target in this entire lecture series is to showcase what you people find difficult while trying the questions. And as I've already mentioned that IIT JEE mains is not very difficult to crack. It's just that you have to be comfortable with what the question is asking. So it says summation a to r is equal to alpha, where r varies from 1 to 100. Right, so this is the particular thing which the question is asking. So now understand what do you mean by the summation sign, right? So what does summation signs mean here is that start putting the values of r starting from 1 till 100. So what it will become, let's see. So a, if you put r equal to 1 here, it will be 2. If you put r as 2, then it will become 4, and so on till it will go till a 200. The summation is given to be alpha, right? So this is the thing which is given to us. The other thing which is given here is that summation a to r minus 1 is given to be beta. So if we now do the same thing with this, this becomes that a1 plus a3 up till what, put just 100 over here, you will get a 199 is equal to beta, right? Another important thing to remember from this particular thing is that 2r generally means all even numbers. So this 2r here is even numbers, and 2r minus 1 should represent all odd numbers. So this sum of all even terms of this particular AP. Beta is representing sum of all odd terms of this particular series. What we need to find is we need to find the common difference of the AP. Let me just rub this portion which is not required to get ahead of the question. Okay, so now we know what do you mean by alpha. So alpha is nothing but a2 plus a4 up till a200. We know that what is beta. So beta is a1, a3, and it will go on till so a199. Now our target is to find d. So what is d? So d is nothing but difference of two consecutive terms if we start writing like this. And this could be valid for what? A200 also, A200 minus A199. Right. On the onset, this problem looks to be a bit difficult, but believe me, this is one of the most easiest things that you can ask in the paper. So we are required to find common difference of the AP. We are given these two series, and if we just check at the answers, that what are the answers here, they are given in the form of alpha and beta, right? All the four options. So somewhere down the line, alpha and beta has to be used in finding the d. Now let's see how we do that. Another very important thing which we can grasp from the question itself every option has alpha minus beta or beta minus alpha here, right? So let's see what is alpha minus beta. Alpha minus beta would become a2 minus a1 plus a4 minus a3, and what will be the last term here? Last term would become a200 minus a19, right? So now what is this term? This becomes d, this becomes d, and this also becomes d. And how many terms are there? So in total there were 200 terms, and we have started to pair them, right? So how many pairs will be there? If there are 200 terms, pair means taken two at a time. Out of 200, how many pairs would be there? There would be, exactly, there would be 100 terms, right, bang on. So what this actually becomes is alpha minus beta is equal to 100d, because d will be repeated 100 times, and this gives us our answer that d is nothing but alpha minus beta by 100 is the d, and that is nothing but our second option. That's it. Can you see how simple this problem was? And if I'll tell you that this problem was being asked in IIEEE 2011, then I think I have made my point that the questions that are being asked at this level are really simple. You just have to stick to the question, understand the basic of it, right? Let me take another problem for you to make you sure that you are comfortable in this particular domain, right? Alright, so let's take another problem here. So it says that A1, A2, A3 up till A100 are in AP, and A1 is given to you this time in the question itself. It is given that A1 is 3, right? So A1 is 3, which is given to us, and the SP, that is sum of this progression, is also given to us as again the summation sign. So I hope you are not now wary of this particular sign. I understand that you must have got hold of it from the previous question. So this is given. So what do you mean by this? That SP is sum of terms of this AP. So this actually becomes this. All right. So this will be till AP. That's it. So P is between anything between 1 to 100. For any integer n between 1 to 20, let m be given as m is 5n, right? And we need, if Sn by Sn does not depend on n, then we need to find the value of A2 here. So what do you mean by Sm by Sn? So if we just review our formulas here, so what does the formula say here? So we know that Sn is nothing but sum of first n terms of the AP, which are given by this particular formula, right? We have already done this much. We remember this much. So let's take this problem from here, and if we apply here, so it becomes m by 2, 2a plus m minus 1d, right? And then Sn would become, what would be the Sn part? So Sn would be similarly n by 2, 2a plus, so this is a simple step, right? Now if we see that these two and these two will get cancelled out, similarly we also know that there is a relation between m and n given to us. So what we can say, so this m and n will also cancel out. We'll be left with what? Sorry, not n, but just 5 here, right, by doing the cancellation stuff. And what would this be? Let's say, so this will be 2a plus, let's say, 5n minus 1d. Alright, so in the denominator then we would have 2a plus n minus 1d. Alright, what is given to you in this particular problem? Let's go ahead and take this. So it is given that, so we are given that Sm and Sn, these two things, this ratio does not depend on n. So this is the key to this particular problem. So let's apply this. So if I solve this particular stuff, so this will be 5 times what this will become. Alright, I'm writing just it over here because I am not having enough space over there. So Sm by Sn, this would be 5. What this would be? 2a minus d plus 5nd divided by, this will become 2a minus d plus nd. Now the problem says that this particular question does not depend on n. So what we can interpret it from here? That is the major thing that is being asked in this particular question. So let's see what does this mean here. So how do we make independent of n this particular ratio? So this says that these are two terms. Let's see, this is first term which is common in both numerator and the denominator. If we remove this term from both the numerator and the denominator, what would be left to you? You will be left with 5 into 5 nd by nd, right? And then we can say these two things cancelled out and we'll have a ratio 25. But now this ratio is independent of n, right? And that was what is the target that we have in the question. So if I say that if I can use 2a minus d equal to 0, that means we will just be left with 5nd here and nd here, and the whole term then becomes independent of n. That is the thing which is required in this particular question. So d then becomes 2a, and we know here that a is given to be 3. So this implies d is given to be 6. We are asked a2. a2 is nothing but a1 plus d. a1 is nothing but 3 plus 6. This gives us our answer, particularly 9. Again, you can see that this problem was not difficult. It's just that you have to start solving it, apply what you have learned. Again, this is a question which I have taken from past year IIT JEE mains, right? Okay, now let's take another problem. So what I'm doing is I'm taking a lot of questions from AP because that is the most famous, or you can say a lot of questions are being asked from this particular topic only, because as mentioned in CBSE, the CBSE is also very good in terms of AP, but as we do later on, so the questions in terms of AGP will not be asked very tough. They may ask tough questions on the AP. That's the reason I'm taking variety of questions in AP, right? So it says if the root of this particular equation are in AP, then you have to find the common difference. Now something new to learn here as well. So this particular problem has cubic in the question. It says x cube minus 12x square plus 39x minus 28 is equal to 0. Though I am going to cover this thing particularly in your different chapter called quadratic equations, but if it has been asked here, let me introduce you the topic over here as well. So let's take a basic cubic which is given by ax cube plus bx square plus cx plus d, and if I say there are three roots alpha, beta and gamma to this particular problem, so then what is the sum of roots given for a cubic is minus b by a. You have to remember this is a formula. This is completely a formula. If I say product taken two at a time, that is alpha, beta, beta, gamma, gamma, alpha, they are added, this will be c by a. So what I am doing, just see the pattern. First b by a, then c by a, and sign first is negative, then it becomes positive here. And the product of roots is alpha, beta, gamma. Obviously, then what would be the next one? Okay, yes, you could guess it right. Now this time would be d by a, but mind it will be now negative sign. Positive, negative, negative, positive, again it becomes negative over here. Now using this particular stuff again in our problem, don't worry about how we have generated this particular step. We'll do this in detail in quadratic topic. Another thing which we need to learn from this particular question is we are asked that roots of this equation are in AP. Obviously this is cubic, degree is 3, so there will be 3 roots. How to take 3 numbers in a cubic? Alright, so this is the target of this particular question also. So if you have to take 3 numbers in AP, so how are we going to take it? We will not take them a plus d, a plus 2d. We will take them a minus d, a plus d. This is how you take 3 numbers in an AP. If you are asked to take 4 numbers in an AP, then the difference would be we'll take a minus 3d, a minus d, a plus d, and a plus 3d. So here if you see in these terms the difference was d, common difference. In these the common difference is 2D, not D. Just remember this particular stuff. Alright. So now let's apply this particular thing in our question and let's see how the question goes ahead. So roots are, let's say, alpha, beta and gamma. So the sum of roots will be alpha plus beta plus gamma. In the question they are given to be, it should be minus b by a. Here b is minus 12, so it becomes 12. And we know that we have assumed our roots as a minus d, a and a plus d. So the sum becomes, d would cancel out. You can see that. I hope you are understanding why we have taken the three numbers as this. Because if you add them, you are just left with a. D cancels out here. And you directly gets the value for a. So a comes out to be 4. There is nothing discrepancy in this. Now what we also need is, we also need to find d, because that is the target. In fact, you are asked to find common difference. Another thing that we can use is alpha, beta and gamma. It is given to be minus d by a. D here is not 28, mind it, it is minus 20. This minus is very important here. So minus 28 by 1, which is again nothing but 28. And what would alpha, beta and gamma would become? A minus d into a plus d, which is a into a square minus d square. This is given to be 28 to you, right? We already know the value of a, so this becomes what? 16 minus d square is equal to 7, right? And if we do this, d square comes out to be what? 16 minus 7 becomes 9, and we get our answer d is equal to plus minus 3. Alright, mind it, there are two particular answers to this. We cannot say that only d equal to 3 is the answer. Alright, but if we try and look at the options, then d equal to 3, this is the answer we are looking for, right? So in this particular question, we have learned two particular things. One is the formula for the cubic, and the other thing that we have done is what? How to take numbers in an AP. So if there are odd number of terms, you start from middle term is a and the common difference is d. If there are even number of terms that you want to take, you will start from what? The middle two blocks. These are the middle two blocks, a minus d and a plus d. Just keep on adding 2d here and subtracting 2d here for extending the series. I hope this question is clear now. Alright, so I hope that the speed is not the issue with you people, and in case if you feel that I am going at a fast pace, you can just pause the video and go through it again. That's the reason I'm not taking a live class, just to make sure that you people can comfortably view the videos at your own pace. So this is another particularly question which keeps repeating itself in exams at IIT JEE mains or maybe at other competitive exams, and it's a very simple problem. What it says that the sum of n terms of two series in AP. So first of all, whenever you are given two series in AP, so what do you understand by this? That there are two APs. So there is AP1. So AP1 will have its first term as A1, and it might have, let's say, the common difference as B1, right? There is another AP2 here. It will have its first term as, let's say, C1. Let me just recorrect it. It would have its first term as C1 and it could have its common difference as D1. So this is what has to be interpreted. There are two series, they are not one, right? So they are in the ratio, the sum of first n terms of these two. So let's say if I called one as Sn and the sum of the other as S dash n. This is given to you that n by 2 of these two both series. So this will be 2a1 plus n minus 1 into b1. Divided this by your n by 2, 2b1. So sorry, this is not b1, correct me. So this is what? C1, right? Because the first term of this second AP is C1 plus n minus 1 into d1 again. So this is the thing which is given into your question. Now you are asked to find the ratio of these two particular, this ratio is particularly given to you. So this is 5n plus 4, let's say 6n plus 6. Find the ratio of their 13th term, right? So you want the ratio of their 13th terms. You don't want the ratio of their 13th sums, and that does not make any sense. So what is being asked is T13 by T dash 13, right? So let us first of all see what actually is this particular ratio. So this becomes A1 plus 12B1 divided by C1 plus 12D1. So this is the particular thing which you require out of this problem, right? How we'll do this? We are given this particular stuff here, but we need to find answer in these two terms. So if I see first of all this n by 2, this n by 2 gets cancelled up, right? What actually is left now is, let's see, 2a1 plus n minus 1 b1, right? And in the denominator you are left with 2c1 plus n minus 1 d1, and this ratio is given to be 5n plus 4 by 6n plus 6, right? Now just compare this and this. Can we convert this into this and this into this? Just see to it. And how you can do this. So if you notice that there are two particular things which are happening here. So it has a1 here, we have a1 here. It has b1 here, we do have b1 here, right? In denominator there is c1, we also have c1 here. It has d1 here, we again has d1 here. So we have those things which are required. The only problem is that here there is no 2, there is 2. Same here, there is no 2 here. Can we divide the both numerator and denominator by 2? That's not a problem. Yes, we can. So now this becomes n minus 1 by 2 b1 divided by c1 plus n minus 1 by 2 d1, right? Now if you compare these two particular terms, a1 and c1, so this is right, b1 is at its place. The only thing which we require right now is that if this particular stuff now matches up to 12, we get our answer. So the thing which is required to be solved here is n minus 1 by 2 should be equal to 12. This gives us the value n is equal to 24 and this is 25. So if we substitute the value here, so if I say substitute n equal to 25, the LHS will get converted to, so this becomes T13 by T dash 13. Now you also have to, just don't forget this, we also have to substitute n in the right hand side. So this is nothing but what? 5 into 25, that is 125, 129. This 25 into 9 plus 6, that is 225 plus 6, that is 231. That is the answer we are looking for. So that easy this question was, nothing to be done. Just try and understand this particular concept, that how we have just made sure that these particular things are being matched up in the question. That's it. Alright. Okay, now let's take another problem and we'll try to understand another particular formula using this. So if I go ahead and speak the question for you, it says find the sum of first 24 terms. Okay, so I'll just highlighting first 24 terms of an AP where this particular sum is given to you, right? This is given and we need to know the sum of first 24 terms. So what we are being asked here is, let's understand, so what are we being asked is, we need to find S24. So this is what the question is asking us. So S24 we know that is nothing but A1, A2 up till A24. This is what is mean by S24. So now I am going to introduce a new formula to you, which I guess many would be knowing, but let's just revise it once again. So it says that sum of terms equidistant, just listen to it first, sum of terms equidistant from the ends is equal to sum of the first and the last terms. All right, I understand I understand that आप काफी सारे लोगों को समझ में नहीं आया होगा. Let me take a simple example to make sure everybody gets hold of it. So these are numbers which are written in AP, a simple AP, very simple AP. So this is first term from the beginning. This is called first term from the back, or first term from the end. Second term from the beginning, this you can map with second term from the back. Third term from the beginning, you can map it with the third term from the back. Fourth term from the beginning can be mapped with fourth term from the back. Now add all these pair. So this will give 1 plus 8 is nothing but, if I add the first and the last term, this is 9. 2 plus 7 is 9. 3 plus 6 is 9. 4 plus 5 is 9. So this is what I was telling you about. So the property here is that AK plus A n minus k plus 1 is equal to A1 plus AN. Just remember this property, very useful property, might be used in the exams, right? So I make sure that you understand what I have written here. AK is the kth term from the beginning, and this is the formula for kth term from back. Kth from back, right? It is the kth term from back is not n minus k. Remember this. This is wrong. The right answer to this is n minus k plus 1. Again, you can understand it from here. So for example, if we take the fifth one, this here, right? This is fourth term from the back, 1, 2, 3, 4, and fifth term from the start. So there are 8 terms. Subtract 5, so you will get 3, plus 1 is 4. So this is the fourth term from the back, right? Now let us see how we apply this particular thing in this question here. All right, let's see. So it says that what is given, just again we'll write it. A1 plus A5, A10, A15, A20 and A24, right? So let us just stop here and assume that the AP has only 24 terms. So the first term is A1, right? And the last term is 24. So I just pair this, sorry, I'll just redraw the diagram. So yeah, so this matches, this pair actually matches with A1 is in pair with A24, right? And A5, so what is A5? A5 is the fifth term from the start. What should be the fifth term from the back? So let's do the calculation. A24 minus 5 plus 1. Just see to it what it comes out to be. It comes out to be A20. That means you can pair this with this also. A10 is the 10th term from the beginning. What could be the 10th term from the back? So 24 minus 10 plus 1. Let's see what this comes out to be. This comes out to be A15. Voila. So these two are also our terms which are common. So if I can say that we have different pairs in this particular problem. So the pairs are A1 plus A24, first pair. The other is A5 plus A20, and then we have A10 plus A15, and all of them are equal to first term and the last term, which is A1 plus A24, and this is given to be 2 to 5. This comes reduces to that A1 plus A24 is nothing but what? 75. Now we have got hold of up till this particular problem. Okay, so but what were we being asked? So we were not being asked A1 plus A24, we were being asked S24. Now that problem is very simple. So if we see, this becomes n by 2 A1 plus A24, right? Nothing, you just need 24 terms. So this is 12 into 75. This is nothing but we get our answer as 900, and this is the answer we were looking for, right? So now in this particular problem we have understood the formula of AK AN minus K plus 1 is nothing but sum of first term and the last term, right? Okay, now let's take another problem on AP, and again this is a very famous problem which says that interior angles of a polygon are in AP. The smallest angle is 120 and the common difference is 5. Then find the number of sides of the polygon. Alright, so this is a very generic problem that is being asked many times in the paper. So let's understand with again this problem by taking a simple problem, right? So we are talk here about polygon, right? We want to talk about polygons here. It is given that you have to talk about polygon. Okay, so let's understand this by, let's say, a hexagon, or you can say the benzene ring that we are talking about. So there are 6 sides here, right? So this is a regular hexagon, and we need to find the sum of interior angles because interior angles are being used in this question, right? It is, let's say, this angle is 1, this angle is the other angle, and so on. These are 6 angles. So how do we find the sum of interior angles of a hexagon? So let me draw as many triangles as are possible in this particular problem. Just mind the lines, they might not be drawn to the scale. So if I see, this is the first triangle, second triangle, third triangle, fourth triangle, right? So there are 4 triangles which we can draw here. So each triangle has an sum of interior angles is 180. So 180 into 4. Now if I have to draw an analogy कि हम इससे हर बार formula derive कर पाएं. So in hexagon there were n is equal to 6. n means number of sides. आपने यहाँ पर क्या लिया है? 4, right? So whenever you are asked sum of interior angles of a polygon, the formula becomes n minus 2. So this is the sum of interior angles of a particular polygon which we will be using this. Now what we are given that there are n angles, because there are n sides, there are n angles, and all angles are in AP, and the smallest being 120. So this series here is something of this sort, right? And it is given that it is 120, the smallest angle, and the common difference is 5. So this is how this series turns up till an, and this is n minus 2. Okay, I hope this particular stuff is clear to you. Now what is the target? We need, what is the requirement? We need to just find n. Simple, right? Very simple. So Sn then becomes n by 2, 2 into 120 plus n minus 1 into d is given to be 5. So this is the particular stuff you are asked to solve. But if you see properly, this would convert into quadratic. So why? Because here there is n here, and if you multiply both of them, you will get quadratic. So quadratic will have how many answers? So quadratic will have 2 answers. So you can solve it at home. I'm not solving it for you. Just remember that there will be 2 answers here, 16 and 9, if you solve this particular quadratic. Alright. So if there are 2 answers, 16 and 9, so one answer is that you have 2 particular polygons for this particular question, that is one with the 9 sides and one with the 16 side. Let's check whether both of them are the answers or not. So if I take 16, so the last answer angle would be A16. A16 would become 120 plus common difference 5 into 15. So this becomes 195 degrees, right? But now let me explain it to you, or rather you tell me, is it possible for a polygon to have an interior angle which is greater than 180? This angle is greater than 180 degrees. This becomes what we call as reflex angle. We do not take into consideration reflex angles. So 16 answer is wrong. We cannot have 16 here. Let's check this with 9, the 9 side polygon. This becomes 120 plus 5 into 8. So the maximum angle here is 160. Perfectly possible, no problem at all. So there is only one answer to this question, which is polygon with 9 sides. Answer is only 9. Okay, let's take another problem. So this particular problem is taken to make sure that you understand another concept of AP. So what it says is that if A, B and C are in, let's say, AP, right? So if I multiply them with a number K, K here, K here, alright, then they still are in AP, right? Even if I divide all these numbers by K, even if I divide by K, then also all of them are in AP. Another interesting property, if I add K to all three numbers, then also it's a AP. Why? Because you can very clearly see, if you just subtract these two, what you will get? B minus A. Subtract this, you will get C minus B, same as the common difference of the original AP. So similarly, if I subtract K, then also the terms remain in AP. Again, AP, no problems at all. Very, very interesting property. And I have taken this particular question specifically to make sure that you understand this particular concept. So let's apply it here. It says that these three terms are in AP. Alright, so just let me write these three terms for you first. Alright, so these are the three terms and they're very beautifully written in terms of math. So how beautifully? Let's see. There is a pattern in all these three terms. If I talk about a pattern, there is a cyclic pattern. See this term. It says B plus C and there is minus A. Then the cycle is being rotated. So understand it this way: A, B and C. So the first term was where B, you go to C, then you go to the third term but with a negative sign. So you started the first term with B, now you have to start the second term with C, C, add second term, then subtract the third term. And again, if you see here, the pattern is, now you will start from A, add the second term, subtract the third term, right? And the term which has been subtracted is there in the denominator. Isn't that a very good pattern to remember? So make sure that whenever a sequence series question is given to you, you try and analyze the pattern given in the question. This will make your work much easier. Now let us see how we apply this particular thing that we just did here in this question. We want to prove by using this that these are in AP. We want to prove that A by 1 by A, 1 by B, 1 by C are also in AP. So our target is to make 1 by A here, 1 by B here, 1 by C here. So let us see how we'll do that. What if I do this particular stuff here, that in the first term I am going to add 2 and in all these terms I add 2. I'm not writing the terms, but I am just hoping that you also understood what I meant by plus 2 here, right? So what do you understand by this? So let's do the basic addition here. So it becomes, if I take the LCM, what it will become? B plus C minus A plus 2A, A by A. Let's see the other terms. What should it be? Yes, it should be B, absolutely. What should be the third one? B, C is here plus 2. So what did we? Exactly. So A plus B plus C by C. Now notice that by adding 2, what we have written here, that they still remain in AP. So up till now there is no problem if I say that it's still an AP. Absolutely fine, right? Now let's take it to the other level. Now we know that numerators in all these three terms are same. What we had said here, that if you divide all the three terms by a common number, then also they are in AP. So I divide all the three by A plus B plus C. So what will be left with? A by B, 1 by A, 1 by B and 1 by C, and this does not change the property that they are in AP. Hence proved. Nothing need to be solved. What generally students do here is that they know the formula 2B is equal to A plus C, the general formula for three terms to be in AP, and they start immediately applying this. by the virtue of the question only you can see that if you start applying this over here, ये बहुत लेंदी को बनने वाला है, ये इतना आसान सवाल नहीं रहेगा. But if you see, we just did this particular question in 3 straight steps. Over. So understand the beauty of this concept, that this particular concept can make a question very simple, very easy to use. आपका क्वेश्चन 5 मिनट में जो सॉल्व होना चाहिए था, now it will get solved in within a minute. And that is how you beat the exam. आपको एग्जाम में सिर्फ क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करना नहीं आना चाहिए, उसको टाइम फ्रेम के अंदर, और अगर पॉसिबल हो तो 1 मिनट के अंदर सॉल्व करना आना चाहिए. और ये उस पर्टिकुलर टाइप का प्रॉब्लम था, राइट?